This is the S&P 500 Spider ETF SPY one-day reading for March 18th, 2025. It's currently March 12th, 2025, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. SPY at the time of this reading, $558.87, that's USD. And so far we are on track, guys. We have a lowest low here on the 11th. We've got a lowest low predicted here on the 10th through the 11th. So we're on track to see a major turnaround here, guys, by the end of the week anyways, into next week where we should have some highs. That's looking pretty solid. The daily reading for March 18th was created on February 21st, 2025 at 8:17 p.m. Eastern Time. So what I'm going to cover in this video is the overall trend direction for the day and overall chart behavior. I'm going to give you information and timing for the day's highest high, the day's lowest low, and the best trades. And I'll give you the hour-by-hour sequence of chart events. It's important to understand that the hour-by-hour timing is usually on point, but it's the sequence of chart events that you must pay closest attention to, because there will be cases where some of these readings you need to give it plus or minus an hour here or there of wiggle room, but the sequence of chart events will remain accurate nonetheless. So pay attention to sequence of events, and timing is always secondary. Now, before I get into that, I just want to make sure you're aware the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. You do that by following through on the rule of karma. You go to the resources tab of our website. 5% of all profits should be donated forward through one of these charity links, effectively maintaining the flow of abundance through the universe. And then 5% of all profits should be donated back to the channel through one of these links. Effectively, it's a way to say thank you, and gratitude begets more situations where you're grateful. Gratitude begets gratitude, my friends. It leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you follow through on those rules, the universe considers you an angel investor of the channel. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Not to mention, you'll hear from me if you do it regularly, that's for sure. All right, so the overall theme and chart behavior for the day. This is a difficult card right off the bat to read overall direction, because it's such a volatile, the Prince of Swords is such a volatile card. Usually there's like some major price swings or like some major volatility or both. Behavior around the highest high, we have a prominent move higher, full retracement back down. Behavior around the low, so there's a fake out at the low. It's somehow nullified. We'll have to look at that in more detail, but likely when you see the devil card in the low position, usually indicates that like they're going to try intentionally. There's going to be chart behavior that's intended to make us think we're going lower. Instead, we turn around. There's like a reversal after we start to go lower, like falsely triggered indication that we go lower, and then we turn around and it's nullified. So that's interesting. That could be meaning that we have a full turnaround, like whatever decline we go into the low, we turn around and retrace. Or we'll see as we progress. I'm advised to trade around a notable peak on a one-day chart that we sell off from. Pretty notably, the unicursal card indicating an important technical price level on a multi-day scale and or a pivot point where we have a sharp drop after. Could be either of those. In the pre-market, we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance followed by a decline through key support into what's most likely a low for the day there in the pre-market at an important technical price level. It may be right at the open even. Important technical price level that will break through temporarily. But that's probably where it makes us look like we're going lower. Instead, there's like a full retracement and we go from that low after a little sideways rotation. There's a big move to the upside taking us into a high for the day. There in the first half hour, right around the open, high for the day thus far. We should decline from that high pretty notably, like a full retracement into a trough, or not a lowest low, but another significant trough on a one-day chart there between roughly 10 and 11. That's after a lot of price change in that first half hour and some sideways rotation along key support on a multi-day scale in there. Either way, we decline into that trough, and then there's a big move to the upside out of that trough, taking us from the trough just before roughly 11 o'clock into another peak, probably just that 1 o'clock, or maybe between 1 and 2, but probably closer to 1 than to 2. So this unexpected move to the upside out of a trough, taking us to another high for the day. It's likely to be, it'll either be the same high or it'll be a higher one. It's probably the same high. We have some mixed behavior from that high, and a little bit of flat behavior between roughly 2 and 3. There's likely to be a really sharp decline off of this second high here. It could be taking place anywhere between 1 and 3 o'clock. Either way, we decline pretty notably, and then we come up in the last hour to meet important support level on at least the 1-year chart scale. Usually that can be relied upon, and then right around the close, there's a big move out of a decline from the bottom of the range to the top of the range. I'm advised not to chase a decline at the close there. Big move from the bottom of the range to the top of the range, taking us back to highs in the post-market or over the following day. We'll look at that when we progress into the next reading. But either way, there should be multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance either in the pre-market and or the following day. Sneak preview for the 18th is a prominent move higher, full retracement on a multi-day scale. So what I would do, guys, is I would look for So if you entered into a long position here on the 17th, likely you're going to be able to close out of that in that first half hour, probably closer to the open than the end of the hour. But I would be careful because there might be like temptation to sell to close out a loss or something before we get into profitable territory there. So just be very, very careful. This is a reason why you want to have the Discord trade alerts for early access on our website, Tarot for Traders. Because you should think of this reading as a guide of expectations of what we expect to see on the 18th. But sometimes that plus or minus wiggle room needs to come into play. Occasionally, very, very rarely, we're just wrong. I mean, it happens very, very rarely, but it happens. Either way, in real time with the Discord, the early access Discord trade alerts and live trading view chart links, I keep those people who are subscribed up to date in real time. That's really the most effective way to trade this. You should not trade this info without that stuff. And I'm going to show you guys how to get that in just a moment. So you likely close out of the long there. And then at this second high here, between 1 and 3 o'clock, I'm leaning, it might be that we see it twice, because that Queen of Cups. But either way, I'm leaning towards the high around 1 o'clock. It should be a highest high for the day. Probably the same as the previous one, but either way, it'll be a highest high for the day. That's where I would open up a short. I would look to close a short for a day trade when we meet that key support level on a 1-year chart scale in that last hour, and I would close out of the short there. And that's SPY for March 18, 2025. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You know where to go. You know what to do. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you guys how to get that early access subscription. You go to our website, Tarot for Traders. Hover over Order Now. Click on Subscriptions. This is our intro subscription. This is $100 a month. And what it gets you access to is the earliest access through our Discord. We drop all of the public videos that come out on YouTube. We drop them in Discord in the early access channel before they come out, usually within a few days, sometimes much further out in that early access Discord. It also gets you access to our live Discord day trade alerts for SPY, as well as swing trade alerts for SPY, and then it gives you access to the chart link where we actually update you in real time what our expectations are. I mean, if you're new to the channel, the red ellipses where we expect turnarounds to the upside, green ellipses where we expect peaks or reversals to the downside, and the bigger the ellipse, the greater the time frame of the reading that it's based on. It becomes more generalized as you get greater and greater time frames. Like these little ones are all day trades, right? And you can see for the most part, these are on point. I gray them out if they're off. So that was like one trade that we were off of last week out of I don't even know how many, a bunch. And it looks like we're pretty on point thus far. Down here as well. So that's an example. You get the TradingView chart link with the drawings in real time as part of the Discord. Great way to support the channel. And I guarantee you subscribe to that and it's going to blow your mind. You'll be looking to subscribe to some of the other ones. That's the only reason why it's only $100 a month. It's to kind of get people's beaks wet. It's probably worth more than all the other ones combined because of the day trades. But that's it, guys. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one.